Everybody, it's Mena. Welcome back to my channel, or if this is the very first video that you're seeing of me, then welcome to my channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I post every day of the week for a while. And today in this video, I'm going to do my top 10 homework tips. And funny story, I accidentally named this, if you can read that right there, my top 10 homework distractions. Wow, it's a lot clearer than my iPad is. Because I've never really put something up close on this camera before. This camera before, so but with my iPad it barely could read anything. Like, the focus wasn't really that good in front of the camera, so it didn't read many things clearer, and I didn't know how to work that camera very well. But this camera actually seems to work a lot better than my iPad does. So anyway, sorry about that. So I'm going to talk about my top 10 homework tips. So these are tips for doing your homework. These are just tips also that I came up with over the years with doing my homework and stuff. So I'm going to get started. And if I missed any homework tips for you guys, please let me know down in the comments below. I know a lot of you parents are probably going to be struggling staying at home with your kids and trying to get them to do their homework and stuff. But here are some tips for your kids and homework and stuff. And these were tips that help me, and hopefully they help you with your kids, because I know a lot of you parents are probably going to be stuck at home with your kids all the time during this COVID. So I'm going to get started. So number one on my list had to be pick a spot where there aren't a lot of distractions. So this is one tip I have, is like pick a good spot, because like if you're in your bedroom, you might be distracted by your computer, your video games, or if you're working in the living room, you might be distracted by the TV and stuff. So one good tip is, one of my favorite spots to do my homework was in my kitchen, because I found it easier to just do my homework in the kitchen, because I knew there weren't going to be a lot of distractions for me in my kitchen and stuff. I actually one time tried to do my homework in my living room while watching TV, but it didn't work out like I planned, because I actually knew one kid at my school who used to watch TV while doing his homework, and he was able to do his homework and watch TV, and that didn't work out for me like I had planned. So I ended up, I got a spot on my, sorry, I thought there was a spot on my camera. I think there's a spot on my camera. Oh no, it's not on my camera, it's just sunlight, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, so one of my spots to do my homework was like mainly my kitchen, because it just made it 10 times easier, because there weren't a lot of distractions. I wasn't near a TV and stuff. I remember one time I was doing my homework at the doctor's office, and my mom had to turn the TV off because I was too distracted by the TV. Number two on my list would have to be do your homework right when you get home. Now, this is one habit my mom came up with for me when I was a kid over the years, is to do my homework right when I get home. And my brother, and she did this with me and my brother a lot when we were really younger, is she'd always make us do our homework right when we got home, so then we could spend the rest of the afternoon playing like video games and stuff and this and that, or whatever we wanted to do, and it just made it a lot easier. Sometimes it would take us a little while to do our homework, so that's why we do it right when we get home, because then we didn't have to stay up all night doing our homework. Number 3 on my list had to be start with a subject at the top of the list and work the way down. So if you get a list of homework, like let's say you have math, English, this and that, start with what is at the top of your list first, and then work your way down to make it easier. And that's what I always like to do whenever I did my homework. I don't know, it just made it a lot easier. If you guys have a different way of doing things that are on your list for homework, that's totally fine. We're all different. I just find it easier to just do it in order, because then I can keep track of what I did. Number 4 on my list would have to be write down when your assignment is due. So what your assignment is and when your assignment is due. So this is an important tip. I'm sure a lot of you guys do this if you have planners and stuff, and you write down what day your project is due and stuff. This was one thing I had to do a lot when I first started using a planner, is write down what day my homework was due, when it was due, and how long I had to do this assignment and stuff. And this just made it so much easier to do for me, because then I could keep track of what day, how much time I had to finish my projects. Number 5 on my list would have to be, if you're in junior high, start with the homework from your first period class. This one made it so much easier for me because, like, if I knew if I started with the homework for my first period class and then do like my third or fourth, just whatever class I had homework in. A lot of my junior high classes, I did get quite a lot of homework, which I hated, which kind of like was really difficult for me, and it made it very overwhelming for me. Like, for instance, when I was in 7th grade, I would have homework in English first, and then I would have homework in well, first I would have homework in history because my history class was my second period class, but then my history class got moved to my 5th period because my English class, because I got moved to a lower English class at the time. So first I would start with history, then I would do some Spanish because I did take one Spanish class, and then I would do English, and then I would do science. So I would do that in order, but then when my classes got switched, I would do second period, which was English first, and then I would do 5th period, which was my history class, and then I would do sixth period, which is science class. And then in 8th grade, I would do science first, history second, and then science first because that was my first period, history second because that was my second period, and English last because that was my 4th period. So I didn't really get so I only got like 3 classes that I had homework in, so I would do it in order. And then in high school, I only had like 2 classes that I would have homework in, and that was for freshman year I had 2, or was it 3? I don't remember. I think it was 2 or 3. I would have I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fade for a sec. Give me 1 second. I would have health first because that was my second period class because I didn't have homework in my first period, which was PE. And then I would do health first or career. Then it got switched to careers first. And then I would do sometimes art because I'd sometimes have homework in art. And then yeah, I'm just not going to explain too much because it's probably going to bore you guys. So I would just start with like the first class I would have homework in, and then work my way down to the last class I would have homework in. And that just made it a lot easier. And then when I was in high school, I didn't really have as much homework because I was in a bunch of special ed classes, which made it so much easier for me. Because when I was in middle school, it was so hard for me to do homework because I get so much homework. Number 4 on my list would have to be write down when your assignment is due. Now, this is an important part. I'm sure a lot of you guys do this, and it helps you quite a lot. So then you guys get a good amount enough time to remember when your assignment is due, and stuff. And that was a really good thing. I think I would always write down when my assignment is due. Sometimes I'd accidentally get the date screwed up, but a lot of my teachers were really nice and they give me a little extension to do my work. Number 5 on my list would have to be, if you're in junior high school, start with the homework from your first period class. This is a good idea. If you have homework in your first period class, is just to start with that, and again, work your way down like I said before, because it just makes it a lot easier. Then you can stay more organized. Number 6 on my list, if you're being homeschooled, start with one subject at a time. This was a good tip for me. This was really good for me so that it wasn't too overwhelming. So what my mom did was, like, we'd start with one subject. Like, our first subject we did was health. And then once we were finished with health, we'd do English. And once we were finished with English, we'd do another subject. Because this made it just much easier for me. Because if we did like one subject each day, it would be way too much for me. And then so your kid doesn't get too overwhelmed, just probably do just one subject at a time with them, and it makes it a lot easier. Number 7 on my list would have to be write down the assignment you're supposed to do. This is a good tip when planners come in handy because they help you keep track of your assignments and how to use them. I started using a planner when I was in the 5th grade because we would get planners in junior high, and it made it so much easier for us all to do our schoolwork. schoolwork, and I love having a planner because that helps me keep track of like my schoolwork and stuff, and it was a great way to help me with my schedule, so I wouldn't have to remember my schedule automatically. Number 8 on my list had to be, if you type something up for school, use a flash drive. So my mom would let me borrow her flash drive when I was in college, because then I could transfer a lot of my work from my computer to school, just in case I needed to type it up at school, and it would just make it so much easier. So if you're trying to work on something at home, put it in a flash drive so then you can take it to school with you. Then you have time to work on it when you have nothing to do. Number 9 on my list would have to be, if you have a test you didn't do well on, ask you if you can take it home and correct it for homework. So I know some teachers probably won't let you do that. They'll make you retake a test and stuff, but a lot of my teachers, because they knew I had a learning disability, they were super nice about it. A lot of my teachers would let me take my tests home and correct them for extra credit, which I did pretty good on and stuff. Like, I would do really bad on a lot of my tests, but they were nice enough to let me take them home and correct them and give me extra credit for correcting it. And they were very nice about it. Number 10 on my list would have to be, make sure you take your homework home with you. This was like one of my biggest mistakes I made a lot in elementary school. I didn't make it very much. Well, actually, to be fairly honest, I made it quite a lot. Made it a couple times, but not all the time. One time I went to do my, I left home and I realized I didn't have my homework in my folder, and I was like, oops, and I got in a little bit of trouble for that, and I've gotten a lot of trouble for that, for not taking my homework home and putting it in my folder and stuff. I remember my punishment was sitting on the bench the whole time at recess, and I really accepted that consequences despite the offenses. But a lot of my teachers were super nice about it. Like my 3rd grade teacher, she would make me sit on the bench the whole recess as my punishment for not doing my homework. But my 4th grade teacher, she was super nice. She'd only make me sit on the bench for 15 minutes, which was not very long because we had, I think, about an hour of recess at the time. And I would accept those consequences, even though I didn't like them, I wanted to accept the consequences. Okay, so that was my top 10 homework tips. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I apologize this video is so long, but thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I post every day of the week for on. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye!